So on Friday, Donald Trump had a meeting with Vladimir Zelensky and JD Vance about signing a deal, protection deal basically with the Ukraine. And it, it was going well. They were having a good meeting. And then things went all off the rails and everybody started JD Vance started yelling at Zelensky. Zelensky was like, what the hell's going on? Why are you yelling at me? Trump started yelling at Zelensky. It was a shit show, in my opinion. And in my opinion, listening to the entire interview, learning that they weren't supposed to talk about the security issue until later on. They were just supposed to talk about the actual deal that they had signed. And Zelensky kind of screwed up by bringing up the diplomacy and the security. What he should have said was, what happens when Putin breaks the ceasefire again? That's how he should have said it. But he also should have waited a little bit to talk about it. But Trump and Vance were also wrong for going off the way they did and going all, alpha male. No, you will listen. Bark, 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 bark. Because that's what it really sounded like. It sounded like two overzealous dogs just barking at another one for just kind of investigating slowly without being aggressive. Like, at one point when Zelensky's like talking about the future and how are you going to feel about this in the future, and Trump's like, don't tell us how to feel, you don't dictate the future, blah blah blah. It was such a dick measuring contest. All three of them were wrong. I've been watching all weekend all the people, oh, Trump doesn't care about the Ukraine. He's going to side with Russia. I even had a family member say that Canada should side with the EU and China. And I'm just like, dude, China and Russia are allies. What the fuck are you talking about? That's what I was thinking to myself. I should have said it. But yeah, it's the reaction to this is so like crazy. Nobody's actually sitting back and going, this was a diplomatic faux pas. This was due to the I would say cultural barrier, and language barrier, and accent barrier. That is a thing too. It is hard to determine tone of voice when you're dealing with accents you're not used to. It's hard to read anger or assertiveness in a tone of voice when you're dealing with an accent that you're not used to. So I think this was a diplomatic error. I don't think this was a Trump is going to go, buddy up with Putin. I think this was, like I said, a complete lapse in all three of them. I think this can still be salvaged. I don't think that the U.S. is going to go side with Russia over this. And I think that the Ukraine is going to come back, and like I think talks and deals are still going to go through. Like I said, this was just a diplomatic faux pas on all three sides. And anybody who's coming down hard on one side or the other needs to go back and watch everything. Watch the interview, listen to what Lindsey Graham had to say. Just go back and watch, because you can see that the interview for the most part was very productive. The meeting was very productive until like the last few minutes, and then it got out of hand. And so I think that this relationship can be salvaged. I don't think this is the end for the U.S. and Ukraine's diplomatic relationship. This is by no means. This is definitely fixable. I think it's already being smoothed over. But yeah, those are my thoughts on what happened over the weekend, dealing with the Ukraine and the U.S. And there are some Ukraine Canadians that are very upset by this, but and saying that nobody cares about dying Ukrainians, which I'm willing to believe. I feel like a lot of people are using Ukraine as just a virtue signal. I kind of feel like that Ukrainian Canadian is right. But those are my thoughts on what happened. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.